Call the May 8, 2023 Carroll County Public Service Authority meeting to order. Ask Mr. Collins if he'll lead us in invocation and pledge.
Father, thank you for this opportunity to be here in this place today to deal with the business of the Carroll County PSA. We just pray that you give us leadership and guidance and direction. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that'll lead us to citizens' time. Do we have anybody sign up for citizens' time? Okay. All right. I'd like to entertain a motion to have a change to the agenda to enter closed session under item A8. Upon motion, the board will convene a closed session for the discussion as authorized by Virginia Code 2.2-3711. A8, consultation with legal counsel employed or retained by a public body regarding specific legal matters requiring the provision of legal advice by such counsel. Nothing in this subdivision shall be constructed to permit the closure of a meeting merely because an attorney representing the public body is in attendance or is consulted on a matter.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, to have a second?
Second.
Okay, I'll start the voting with Mr. Jessup,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
and I vote yes. such business matters as were identified in the motion by which this closed session was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting to which the certification applies. And that, we went under closed session under item A8. Okay, Mr. Jessup, you certify?
So certified.
Mr. Collins?
I so certify.
Mr. Hill?
So certified.
Mr. McCraw?
I so certify.
Mr. Moore?
I so certify.
And I so certify. Now we'll move on to consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, section A, B, and C together or separately?
I make a motion A, B, and C is presented.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. We'll start the voting with Mr. Jessup,
Yes.
Mr. Collins.
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Moore,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Okay, that brings us to new business budget discussion. Mike, if you want to take it from there.
Budget discussion, we entered I was able to email out just a draft budget. And in that draft budget, just give you some time to look over it, and if you had any questions over it. I was planning at the next meeting to possibly go through and spend some time going a little bit over it on line to line. I was going to pull up, there's a couple main items in it, just to let you know that it's not great. What we did this time is separated out the budget as it was before between water and sewer. Within the budget, you have your revenues, they're estimated at the 3% that was already approved 2 years ago for both water and sewer. Just to give you an idea, the water fund looks like it makes about 47,000 is what I have reported on here, maybe a little more. And the sewer is budgeted at a negative amount, which is subsidized through prior year reserves, which I'm looking for that number. 205,929. That's probably a worst case scenario, meaning overall we're losing about $200,000 a year on sewer. Okay, that's not counting your availability fee that the county provides to the PSA. We received $525,000 from the Carroll County in order for the projects we've done in the past. So, in all reality, depending on how much we can save and where we save at, you're looking at about $140,000. And the reason why I budget this way, I budgeted so the reserve fund, where you see reserve fund of $205,929, what that gives you is what we really should be at. Just and this includes the increases in the rates, also the extra meters that we're going to be putting in through the grant that we had. So, you know, where we can save in different areas. We got hit real hard on electricity, was one of the major ones. And then some of this that we're seeing at Exit 1, though, those fees will be paid out of, you know, the county. When we set up our ARPA funds, we put money back to help on Exit 1 to fix that thing. So what I am requesting in the board meeting tonight is $82,000 to cover some of the cost. That would cover the check that I believe that's the number. That would cover the check that we wrote for the $35,000 approximately for the fees for the consent, and then some of the repairs that we're doing. Just to give you an idea, it's about $2,000 more a month for each month that we're doing the pumping, and then we're buying motors and doing some other work. So,
Will the Sewer over at exit 19, once something gets over that way, will that help some with that sewer loss that we're losing?
Yes.
And with it being a high-pressure sewer system, it's gonna be hard to ever get enough customers outside of that to cover it, correct?
Hopefully,
break
we'll-
even.
Yeah, we need to increase our customer base in order to do it. And the only way you're gonna do it is on areas that have gravity fed into the pump station, so. And as we go to look forward, so it's normally, it's easier to run water and it's cheaper.
Okay.
So the more water customers got, you're gonna see it subsidizing it. But it gives us opportunity at the next meeting to go through it.
Okay.
Any questions you come up, or if you have any during this time. I do have the SCADA project in here, in the next year's budget for the 665. And, that'll be it'll be, approved and appropriated, but it's paid out through the CIP, in which we'll transfer the money over to the, PSA at a later time. So they can pay the bills. So in other words, moving forward with the SCADA, moving forward with exit 1, and I'll give a little bit of an update on exit 1 as we go. And then the rest of the project updates.
Anybody else have any questions on the budget? If not, we'll move on to project update, Mike, exit 1.
Okay, on the Cana 1, on exit 1, Cana system interconnection, that would tie the Mount Airy system located at exit 1 right there at Love's onto the ones that are fed by wells in the same area. We did apply for that. That was based on the money that was set aside through the federal ARPA funds. So we've reapplied for that we applied for last time. They start reviewing them, I think, in middle to the end of May. So it'll be another month or two before we find out anything, if then. Exit 1 regional wastewater project, we've reached out to, our engineers reached out to Mount Airy and NCDOT. And we're going to schedule an appointment in order to have some conversations with them and see what the schedule is on that. We're still in the desire to do away with that exit 1 thing, but it's still be another year or two. So, exit 1 plant update. We have done some cleaning and repairs. They did pump it out. Got down in it. I've been trying to go down there at least once, maybe twice a week. We did have Gary Johnson meet with the guys. We went through the plant and talked about things and way to operate. We're still waiting on a motor. Hopefully I'm gonna have it. Actually, we had one that's been on order for over a month, and I should get another one later on this week. So we'll have a spare plus this one fixed. A lot of problems. I mean, when they pulled and pumped it out, we had blowers we had a blower that wasn't working. Well, it just died within the last month, and then the blower blows air down, and it puts air in the bottom of it, keeps it mixed up. It helps it in its digestion. We had some of them. We've got 3 or 4 of those that need replaced. They've been pressure washing the inside of it, cleaning it all off. With the lighting, you're able to see. So we're trying to schedule time in which we can have somebody come down there, help operate it, work with it. Spending money and trying to get it fixed. Any questions? SCADA, we're scheduled a meeting, as I said before. Hopefully it'll be next week. That's what I'm hoping for. We're going to travel all the sites, see exactly what we want to do in each one of them, look at it, move forward as soon as possible. Hillsville Sewer.
Back up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
On the SCADA system. Have we done bid it or?
It's been bid. We had, I think, 5 companies that sent in for the bid. AMR was the company that was selected.
We interviewed the top 2.
Yeah, we interviewed the top 2. And it's There will be a couple areas that'll have to have a cell card, but most of it's going to run through a wireless fixed network. One of the things I'm hoping in the future that we can do is for, if we ever get an announcement on the broadband, it's something maybe run fiber at each one of the sites too.
But it's gonna work.
It's supposed to work.
It's
Yes.
guaranteed to work.
Well, oh yes, I forgot about that. It will work before we are done and pay the final bill.
Okay. And that's the people at Rocky Gap.
That's people at Rockhead, yes, sir. Okay, and I do have a request here. It's a recommendation to accept the AMR SCADA bid in order to move forward with the project. If you don't have any more questions, I would like to have a formal vote on this.
On the SCADA?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Entertain a motion, we approve this?
I so move, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, start the voting with Mr. Jessup,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
and I vote yes.
Okay, next item, the Hillsville Sewer. It's been a long process. Currently, our current plan of action is to work to get a camera in there to see where it's broke. We've tried to locate the line, haven't had a lot of success. Hillsville's working really well with us. The plan doesn't exactly show where the line is. Once we have a camera, if we can figure out where it's broke at, if it's a problem, we're going to compare the price difference of digging it up on 58. It looks like it's out in the lane, or lining it. So we have got a contract. I have sent it to Steve to look at a little more. It's a never-ending battle. We pressurize it up to about 100 pounds, 110 pounds, and you can see it pumping up through the asphalt on 58. Right there about where the turnoff that's go up into the industrial park. It's in that, I guess if you're going toward exit 14, it's on the inside lane on the left-hand side. So once we figure that out, we'll have a contractor probably come and do it.
Is there anything out there that, the state could do and all, because by it being built over, the road being built over the sewer line?
I don't know if there's any grant money, but I can go and look again.
This would be, my thought process on it is, check and see, and if it's something that there is, if there's some kind of relocating money or something, you step it back over and put it on Web Haven, and that way you never have to go back down in that lane of traffic again. I'm sure VDOT would probably rather do that than having to pave the road too as well. So
Yeah,
check on that.
yeah, I absolutely will.
My biggest problem is we'll get it fixed there and get it paid back, and then what happens the next time? Here we are again.
How many feet rough we're talking about having to move?
The maps, who knows? If we had good maps, we could just step it out. I know there when you turn on Web Haven, the little dead end road, it's off the road there, but I don't know how much of it's in that lane or where the bridges are, or really how it does down there. That camera and locating tape would help us.
Yeah, we took our tape locator, but they didn't have any luck with the one we had. Unless you got a way to help us out there.
We probably could do something. Yeah, that'd be good. The camera's remote, right?
Well, we have one that we've had here. I don't think it's ever been used. I've got to find a remote for it. We'll order one.
Okay. If you get that let me know. I could probably help.
Yeah, we had one of the robot ones,
Mhm.
the ones that had the
That'd be good,
motors
'cause-
on them that tracks. Any other questions? All right, water sewer grants, we still have 22 to do. Keep working at them slowly. Fire hydrants, ordered the bags form, and you should have a list of the roads that, in the packet here, of a list of the roads in which we've checked. But we have ordered the bags, the actual bags put on them. And service line, leak service line inventory, we're still at the same spot, just waiting for a report. Going on to old business connection fees. You know, it's something we need to discuss in the budget with, I mean, it's hard to drop fees when you're running a negative anyway. So it might be something we can talk about at our next meeting for the budget. Deer Ridge Extension, we're looking at getting a PER. In order to do that, we'll need to have a small PER turn over to the Virginia Department of Health in order to do that. We did drive out and look at it. You know, other than the one utility that's in there, I think it's communication. I don't think there's anything else out running through there. Might be something we could accomplish in-house if we can get the time to do it. It'd be a nice project for us to do unless we can come up with the funds somewhere to extend that.
Do we need to make a motion to proceed with that project? Do you need it in the motion?
I'll take it.
All right, I'll make that motion.
Okay, have a motion by Mr. Moore to have a second.
Second.
Second, we'll start the voting with Mr. Jessup.
Yes.
Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Mr. Hill?
Yes.
Mr. McCraw?
Yes.
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Okay, on the 221 water, the one running down to the individuals that are having such an issue with their water, we're in the process of sending them a SIRCAP application. And I guess we want a little bit of guidance. Do we want to try to have another meeting? I think last time we only had, 3 or 4 people that
Yeah.
wanted it down through there. SIRCAP is a way of them possibly getting funding or assisted in funding to dig their own well.
Is it's shared, how many houses are on that well, do you know? Spring?
On that spring, I know it. They're both on it, right, Tracy?
Mm-hmm. There's like 3 or 4 houses.
That's what I was thinking.
I think we should, hold off right now till you get more support wanting to do it, I mean, that'd just be my opinion.
I think so.
And continue to try to pursue kind of a grant or a process to where we could have a well and, just to feed them. I think, just my opinion, that's all that's interesting,
I agree.
but.
Okay.
And where will that be, Tracy?
What's that? I'm sorry.
A well?
Yeah.
I think, possibly there, right there where they're having issues,
And exactly where they have an issue.
with what they currently have going dry, But ultimately, at the end of the day, if I have an issue, I got to dig a well. I mean, I don't really know. There's, I know we got well houses like over there, Bent Nail and different places. And if you could find funding to do that for a little community, that would be good, to help.
That's kind of what we should be looking at, is satellite places like that.
Yeah, because I mean, I just don't think you could ever fund it with the amount of people that would hook to it.
Right.
can't run it from here to there, you need to have.
Yeah, I mean,
Just not enough houses in between.
and I drive them roads every day, and there's just not a lot of construction either. You know, because a lot of it's farmland, it's not, you know.
But where does people live that's having the
Right
trouble?
there on the right, before you get to Popper Hill,
On the right, where it's proper.
you know, from the river bridge to Popper Hill Road. Through there.
Okay.
And, I mean, it's just a stretch to get it any other direction. And, I mean, we could have another meeting at the rescue squad or somewhere, but the last one I sat at, they weren't very many people, you know, you could get them to do it.
How are we advertising them
Letters.
letter, house to house?
Based on the tax tickets.
We could do it, I mean, I mean, rather than call a meeting, could we set up I mean, of course, it's whatever the authority wants to do, but maybe send out a survey who would be interested in having another meeting to them addresses and see what we get come back.
I mean, we could drop things at every house going up through there and
Just see what we get back or what
self-address
interest we
thing.
have just for another meeting or future discussion of it.
We could do that while they're working on the application anyway.
And we gotta have what, 51% for the health department to help?
And a lot of money.
Yeah. Okay, next item is the Servetus water extension. Driven it several times. It really doesn't look like a difficult project. You could go all the way to the end, to the T-stop there, and you could pick up some to the left and some to the right. Go down to about where the creek goes underneath the road. I don't think we want to cross the creek, and from the creek down, there's one right at the creek, and then there's probably only 2 or 3 on out that road, do you know?
Not many.
Not many. But we was thinking about, instead of a meeting, maybe do a door-to-door, go out there and see who would be interested, if they're willing to sign up.
That'd be good. I think there would be support enough to do that, especially if we could build it in-house.
Yeah. You know, one of the options is possible either renting or looking at a trencher, because I don't think there's a single utility out through there.
No, there's not.
There's no gas, no electric. I don't think anything's buried.
No.
And the roads, I mean, it's not very, very wide, but there's some nice property out there. If a person wanted to build on, you could probably do. But we'll look at going door to door and seeing what kind of participation we've got. Okay. Other than that, one of the things we're working with our contractor does our GIS. We're looking at putting our information so that a person can go out right now. If they're inspecting the hydrants, they're writing it down, they're sending it in, we're keeping track of it. One of the things we want to do is be able to track it from an inspection as far as tracking on our GIS. Also get to the point where the guys can use an iPad and put in that information, so you're not doubling up on this thing, and we can run a list of what can be checked, and then we can update our one that's online to tell whether or not they're out or whatever. So it's an option also. Plus tracking brakes. We are applying for, we sent in for a lead line service technical grant. What this is a grant that inventories lead lines within the county. It's a revolving, I mean, it's open all the time. So hopefully they'll start reviewing those applications. We've tied some money into it to help update the GIS. So that might give us an opportunity to do a line inventory better, to put some of this information in. We had Thompson Litton did the application for us at no cost. So I'll let you know as that moves forward. Other than that, I believe that's all I've got on my list.
Okay, that moves us to authority members' time. I'll start with Mr. Jessup.
I hadn't got anything.
Mr. Collins?
Just a question, comment, or whatever. I think you said, Mike, that you put $80,000 in to pay the penalties for exit 1 and something else. What else did you say that was going to pay?
It'll be the 35,000 for the penalty from the consent order, and then during this time period, we had, new pumps. We're paying for more, what's that? Our pump and haul on that also. So, we can get you a breakdown about what it's.
Well, I was just curious, and so it dropped from 45 to 35, I'm
Yes.
assuming, because 45 is what it was. I guess my question is, over the years that we've paid these penalties, what have we paid and what would it cost just to fix it right?
Well, this is the second one we had. The first one was 7,000. Okay.
So that was the first one ever after all those years of being out of compliance?
That's correct.
Well,
That's the first consent order.
that was, we weren't out of compliance prior to, we were out of compliance up to the point they gave us the first consent order, but we hadn't been out of compliance before that.
So when was the first consent order?
It was last year, wasn't it about?
Because when I had a conversation with them, they said that we hadn't been in compliance in quite a few years.
Probably been 2.5 years. I'm gonna say we got this consent order. I'm wanting to say it's been out for, our last consent order was about 1.5 years ago. So you're about 2 years out of compliance.
But
Two
prior
and
to
a half.
that, we weren't.
Just seems like it's been a never-ending discussion, and it's a money pit. What's it cost to fix it right?
Well, we had about 900,000 in the ARPA funds to do it, but I'm hoping we don't do that. See, one of the things is when this thing started going out of compliance, we started looking at the grants for it. And that's the reason why we applied for the money to do away with the plant. Currently, the plant, I'm gonna say, what was it, about 1.5 years ago? About a year ago or so, we did a flow study, to determine, they put a meter in, check the flows on it, to see if the plant is getting too much flow. Then we started the PER to do the design in order to put a screen in to catch it so that the pumps would quit jamming up, okay? And then I'm gonna say 1.5 years, 2 years ago, we've had a change. The two people that are running now probably haven't been with us 2 years. So now we're getting in there and we're changing the way we operate. Before if one pump went down, didn't get fixed. So now we're trying to buy it. Our consent order says that we have to have everything operational. Sometimes, we'll order a pump or a motor and it takes us 2 months to get it done, okay? It sounds like a lot of excuses, but it's just lack of service. I mean, the plant, since it was put in 2012, 2010, so you got, well, it should have been better, it lasts longer than that, but you're 12, 13 years since they put that in there. You've had McDonald's on there, then you've got Subway on there. One of the things that we're looking in, I've been talking with, as far as with Hillsville about grease ordinance. We have a grease, but we're going to have to start inspecting. We're going to have somebody coming out and start checking grease traps and getting the information, those type things too. There's a grease problem at every one of them. Every time you've got, I love a Big Mac, but they put the grease in the system. That's just not just them, but you've got all that. So exit 14 has some issues with that. To fix it, if we get everything working right, you're probably, I want to guess 100 to 150, something like that, which we received. We have, I'm guessing off the top of my head, don't quote me on the number, about $900,000 worth of ARPA money to go toward exit 1 that was put aside because we knew there was a problem there. Okay, that's before we got the grant. We did receive $100,000 from the Mount Rogers Planning District that will help with the screen and the upgrade of the electricity that we were going to pay for out of that $900,000. So we've got about $1 million to go toward that project. The hope is we can get it done for about $150,000, and then within the next 2 years, if we can keep it operating right, we'll get out of that business and move it to Mount Airy. Once we get it to Mount Airy, I'm hoping that the money we save off operating the plant on an annual basis between all that will pay for the debt. So hopefully it won't increase the cost. We should decrease our cost by getting rid of the plant.
Somebody else had mentioned a while ago on an issue that we'd had somewhere, and we don't want to have people with a bad taste in their mouth about the county. I mean, that just happened in the last few weeks, couple of months, and this has been going on for years.
Yeah, it's been.
And I honestly, the folks on exit 1 there that live around that, why wouldn't we go spend that $150,000 and fix it?
The problem is we don't exactly know what the fix is. We don't. I'm saying I hope 150. It might cost you 350. If we get everything fixed and everything working the way it is, we're not sure if we don't have to put in a basin there to catch it before it goes into the plant so we can control the flow.
All right, another dumb question. Who can tell us what it takes to fix it?
Well, right now we're working with our engineering firm, and then we've got a person that's really knowledgeable about it trying to work with us now, training, doing some education, some household cleaning, plant size for 20,000 gallons a day, and we're pumping about 7,000 to 8,000. We're having spikes up to probably 12 to 15,000. This plant operates off of timers and ball valves. So if you're going in there and when the flows change, it changes the operation of it. So if you have, say you get it running completely right, and then Memorial Day weekend comes and all these people come back through there, then you're starting again. You have to adjust it, get it so. So the fix is get rid of it. I mean, I don't know if the flows, that's the problem. We don't know if the flows can handle it. And until we get everything repaired and everything and spare parts in there and get everybody trained the way they are, we won't know if it's going to be this $150,000 fix or it's going to be a $350,000 fix. It might be more than that.
So what I hear you say, we've been operating for quite some time with faulty equipment.
Yes. Yes.
It was over-designed for the flows. Is that basically what we've determined, that when it was originally built, it was over-designed
Yes.
and not receiving the amount of flow that it actually needs to operate properly?
But as of, it's, if you have, and everybody here correct me if I'm wrong, but if you have, 500 houses, okay, that's different than if you've got one business throwing commercial stuff there. So if you'd had more houses, if people would have been on there, you'd got a different type of flow, you'd have a different type of mixture in there.
Every sewage treatment plant is different,
Yeah.
and it has to be adjusted based on the flows that you're getting, all the components that you're getting. And what I think I'm hearing you say is there's not enough
Solid.
of one, yeah, not enough BOD, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, what happens if the motel comes in there and it goes to, or is it gonna be big enough to go to Surrey County then?
That, right now, if you had somebody come in and see if they had a flow, we'd have to turn them away. I wouldn't, if we're under a consent order, I don't want to add any more customers, not to that area. So the only way that you could, and even if we weren't, I don't know if you could take those flows. I think you'd really, if you want to build that intersection or in that area or increase any more customers on that, you'd have to have, you need to get rid of it.
It's just not a good situation.
You can be there at 8 o'clock. Like what day was we down there the other day? It was clear as a bell and it didn't change.
I mean, we were standing there watching it, and you could see how it was and the clarifier, you have one clarifier, then it goes to the second clarifier. You can tell where it has a weir that it goes over. It was clear, looked good. Within seconds, the flows increase, and then you're looking at the stuff, the solids at the bottom, in the clarifier. And then once it, you can call it burp, you can call it whatever you want to do, but then you've got all this stuff in your other area that, you take a bucket and it's clear, and it's running into another bucket and it's clear. And then you have one little bad flow, and the next thing you know is the first bucket gets dirty. Well, that one clears up, but the second bucket's already gotten dirty. So then you have to run it all the way through in order to get it to there too. There's quite a bit to it.
Okay, Mr. Hill,
I don't have anything, thanks.
Mr. McCraw?
The only thing I'd like to say is we need to remember Preston and his family as they're dealing with the death of his dad. So keep them in our prayers.
Okay, Mr. Moore?
I'll ditto what Robbie said there. I know Ray, he worked hard on this system back in the early days, and he should be remembered for that. Just thank our employees and Mike and staff for everything they do. That's all I have.
I'm gonna ditto Tracy and Robbie. Remember Mr. Preston and that family. Mr. Hill did do a lot for the PSA and the county. And we'd like to thank the staff and all the workers for everything they do. That's all I have. I have a motion for adjournment.
I'll make
So
a
moved.
motion.
A motion to have a second.
Second?
All right, Mr. Jessup,
Yes.
Mr. Collins,
Yes.
Mr. Hill,
Yes.
Mr. McCraw,
Yes.
Mr. Moore,
Yes.
and I vote yes.